I truly believe that you could create content better than 99% of people. You see, I've been studying people that get hundreds of thousands of views, and it's not the gear, the editing, or anything like that. Instead, it's the opposite of what most creators tell you to do. So in this video, I'm going to break down 5 things that you can do completely different than other people to make your content 99% better than most other people. So let's dive into it. You see, over my last few videos that have been doing a lot better than other videos that I've previously done, and in fact, most of my videos are getting 1 or 2 out of 10, which is telling me that I'm doing a lot better than my previous videos. And if you do a 1 out of 10 after 1 out of 10, that means that it's better than the one you'd previously done that had already been doing really well. So something that I've been doing is sharing my life. You see, on one of my videos, I talked about how I was talking to this other person and they just shut me down, telling me that every time I was talking, they were bored. And they thought it was funny. I did not find it was funny at all at the time. And I got over the hump, but still at the time it really stung. And sharing things like that are not comfortable at all. In fact, most of the time, and when I first started this channel, I was shying away from saying things like that. But the reality is, people want to hear more about those stories. That's how smaller creators are blowing up, and I've seen this happen time and time again, where when you watch a video and you feel connected to a certain person, but you don't really know why, and most of the time they are telling stories just like that they probably aren't really comfortable talking about. And when I realized this and I try to implement this in the content that I'm doing, it tends to do a lot better than most of the other content that I do, because people will feel a connection. And you don't want to just shove down people's throats whatever your insecurities are, but tie into the content that you're talking about. And that really does help to bring home the point, but also to have your audience connect with you. Because the goal of this channel, and I believe that if you're watching this channel, you're probably over like 20 years old, and the goal isn't to be an influencer and get millions of views. Now, if I do get a video that gets millions of views, great, but the goal of the channel is more to have a connection with my audience, to have people that like you that are watching it and really want to watch the videos, and also put some comments down and like the video and basically interact with me. That's the goal of this channel. It's not to have millions of views, even though, again, as I said, if there's an outlier and does millions of views, then I'd be happy about it. But more importantly, I want to build a real connection. I don't want to be the next Mr. Beast. It does not interest me at all. I want to be able to walk around outside and not have people harass me. I don't mind having a few people, but if you're that big, it tends to be quite hard. But anyway, that's not really the point. But the point is, if you share your stories while you're teaching something, it makes it way more enjoyable for the audience, and I watch people that are doing exactly that. Now, the next point that I want to talk about is use AI, but don't make it replace you. So when you see some videos out there that are entirely made by AI, and AI is actually getting really good at it, so they'll write you a script, they'll do the videos for you, they'll do the voiceover, and you can still hear it's AI, but it's getting closer and closer to the real thing, like where you can't even tell the difference between an AI and a real person talking. So we're getting there. But if you do that, it's going to be really hard. And that goes back to the last point that I talked about, which is if you don't tell your own stories, you're going to be replaced by AI. That's basically the fact. So if you want to have so this is the way I use AI. So I'll see a title and a video that would be good for my channel and that I could potentially make myself, make my own version of it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to just copy the video, and I'm not even going to watch the video. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, show, and click on show transcript. Select the transcript, put it in ChatGPT, and tell me what are the main points of this video. So I'll see the main points and I'll talk about the main points in a way that suits me. And I'll also post the comments and tell ChatGPT, tell me of those comments, what do people like about the video so I can keep that in the video. What do people not like about the video so I can take it off. And also, what are some questions that people have in the comments. So once I get all these answers and I have the main points, I can tweak in whatever is missing and take away what's there already. But it's still my video because I'm going to just have the main points, but I'm going to talk about my own stories about how I do it. If I were to just tell ChatGPT to write me a script, it would just be a robot talking, and there's no point in watching me other than somebody who's making like a fully AI video. There's no point in watching that. So if I able to take the main points and talk about my own stories and how, you know, those things just tie in and have the main points that are important that people actually want to watch, then it's going to make me use AI but not replace me by AI. Now the next point is something that I've done very recently. In fact, it's the second video that I've made that is that way, and the last one that I made isn't out by the time I'm filming this, but I know this for a fact. When you make a video and you film with your iPhone, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, you're probably going to have an image quality that's alright, even if it's an older iPhone. If you film with an iPhone 4, it's probably going to be alright. And if the image isn't great, then it's still okay. It's no big deal. However, if you have the camera that's bad, that's a different story. So this is why I upgraded to a DJI mic. Before that, I had just like a crappy mic from Amazon or something like that, and it wasn't great. It was just above the quality of an iPhone. But think of it this way: people are willing to go through a video that's interesting, that has bad video quality. That's alright. I can watch a video that's not great. But if the sound isn't great, you're going to hit, you know, go watch another video before that, or as soon as you realize that. So it's something that you really do need to keep in mind. If you want to spend any money on anything, don't spend it on a camera, but rather spend it on a mic. So mine is a DJI Mini. It's not that expensive, but the quality of the sound is insane. I've compared this, I edited my last video, which should be out when you watch this video, and it's day and night between the sound that I had before and the sound that I have now. So there's still some things that I need to change. I've turned down this knob that it was basically too loud. Even then the quality is insane. So you can just plug it into your phone or your camera if you have one, and it works perfectly. So make sure that the sound is great. Don't worry too much about the video quality, or you can do that later on, but really it's not the most important thing that you do straight away. If you want to upgrade your camera and you've already upgraded the sound, great, but don't do it beforehand. The next thing that I want to talk about is don't try to sound super smart. If you're an expert in something or you know something better than most people, you are going to tend to use super specific words that are super niche, that people just don't understand. And it's going to pump up your ego and make you sound really cool. But the reality is, if you do this, people are not going to build the connection that you need. So if you know something that's better, make it simple so that an 8-year-old could understand what you're talking about. That's basically what you want to think of it. Because people want to sound smart, and if they don't understand, they're not going to sound smart. And they're not going to watch another video. So if you want to have something that's working and where you build a connection with your audience, and even if your goal is to get views, like, this is probably a good idea too. But just don't sound super smart. Instead, just sound like you were talking to an 8-year-old and they would understand. If that's the case, then you're doing a good job. The next point is, it's not about you. I made this mistake when I first started this channel, and you can look back, and that's why I stopped doing so many analytics videos, even though they were doing all right. And I'm probably still going to do them from time to time, maybe once a month. But the truth is, when you make videos about you, people don't really care. And it's just the fact. People care only about themselves. And that's everyone. That's just how the world works. And it's okay. So if you make a video about yourself and how you're so cool, and you do something and whatever it may be, and you show, I was showing my analytics, it's not going to work too well, rather than if you can help people. So instead of, how do I look, my hair isn't perfect, it's okay, it doesn't really matter. Because when you show up and you're like, I'm going to share what I know, and you might not be light years ahead of everybody. Like, this is a small channel, and I'm talking about how I realize that people are making a lot of views, and how they can get loads of views and have their channel grow and build a business out of their YouTube channel. It's not really about me. Yes, I will share some points because that makes people relate to me and tell people what I do. But also, it's not about me, it's about you. It's about helping you realize that this is what I learned, and this is what you can implement in your own channel to make it grow faster and better, and, have more connection with your audience, basically. So if you're watching this video thinking that I want millions of views, it's not that I'm growing my channel. It's about having a connection and having really people that are connected to me. So if you leave any comments, then that's why I'm always so happy to get any comments. There's also another tip that I want to talk about, is people, or YouTube itself, the actual platform, is shying away from AI stuff. It's they're taking down tons and tons of low effort AI videos. Yes, you will be able to find AI videos that are good, that people put in work, but most importantly, they're shying away. And I've watched so many videos right now, and so many channels. In fact, I'd say 90% of the channels that I watch have zero editing. That's because people want to build a connection, and the more editing you have in your videos, the worse your connection is going to be, and the less human people are going to feel. So if you make an AI video, people realize that it's AI. But if you make a real video where you have tons and tons of cuts, it's somewhere in the middle. But if you have a video that's raw, that has no editing at all, and you're just talking about a subject that you're interested in, then that's the real connection. That's where, the one-take videos are the ones that I watch personally, because that's the people I connect with the most. And I think it's somewhat of an age thing, but not only an age thing, it's also that people are getting sick of the overly edited video, and I think they're getting less and less of these. They still exist, some of them still work, but I think the more we go into this era, the more that people are just going to have raw videos, and it's just going to work a lot better than something else. Now, I still edit my videos because sometimes I look at my notes that are right here, but most of the time I just try to not edit. Like, I just cut out the blanks. Basically, that's all I do, and that usually works for me. And I know that I'm still going to get some comments that are saying like, you should put this in your video, you should add that. But again, I'm not trying to have millions of views. I'm trying to build a connection and build a real community of people that are trying to make a YouTube channel and hopefully be able to make a living at some point. Now, if you're waking up with a video that you have 0 views, there's probably a good reason for that. And in fact, I made a whole video about this, which you can watch right here, and you should probably watch it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.